Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is Stranger Things Season 3. Welcome back to Hawkins, Indiana. It's summer in the 1980s, so where better for our group to spend their time than the brand new state-of-the-art Starcourt Mall. Remember, at the end of Season 2, 11, Elle used her psychic powers to close the gate permanently, trapping the Mindflayer in the Upside Down. So the world is safe, there's nothing to worry about, unless the Soviet-era Russians have secretly infiltrated Hawkins and are doing crazy science experiments to reopen the portal. With the door cracked open, the remnants of the Mindflayer trapped out here could reanimate, but don't worry, I'm sure that's not happening. Our kids have grown up into young teenagers now, and the hormones are raging. Mike and 11 spend the whole summer making out. This infuriates her grumpy adopted dad, Police Chief Jim Hopper, who tries and fails to enforce the house rule, keep the door open 3 inches. Lucas and Max are also happily dating, and even Dustin apparently has a new girlfriend, Suzie, he met at engineering camp. In fact, he's built an epic homemade radio tower to stay in touch with her, but she doesn't answer and definitely seems made up. This just leaves Will, who's not into girls yet, and has trouble wrangling his girl-crazy friends for some Dungeons & Dragons. Our older teenagers, Nancy and Jonathan, are still dating as well. They've graduated high school now and both got internships at the Hawkins Post. Nancy wants to be a real reporter, but it's a bit of a boys' club. They don't take her seriously. Then there's the high school heartthrob, Steve the Hare Harrington. But now that he's graduated, he's not the prom king. He's just slinging ice cream at Scoops Ahoy and has kind of lost his touch. Something his band nerd coworker Robin is all too happy to rub in his face. And even the adults have caught the love bug. Hopper and Joyce Byers have always had some chemistry, but horniest of all is Mike's mom, Mrs. Wheeler, who has the hots for the new lifeguard, Max's older brother, Billy. Yes, he is a sex icon, but remember, he has some serious anger issues. He and Mrs. Wheeler have a fun flirtation going, but tonight's the night to take it to the next level. Oh, is this really happening? But in the end, she can't go through with it. It was a sexy fantasy, but she's not gonna cheat on her husband. But Billy's on the way to the motel when he runs into some car trouble outside this abandoned factory, and whoa, something grabs him! What's happening here? Oh! Meanwhile, Hopper goes to Joyce for advice on how to talk to teenagers, and she advises him to write a note expressing his feelings. Talking about feelings is not really his strong suit though, so he goes for the tried and true method, threaten your daughter's boyfriend. So the next day, Mike says, I can't hang out, my Nana's sick, but Elle knows he's lying. She goes to talk to Max, and these two weren't previously close, but it's like, hey, you can't hang out with your boyfriend all the time, you need some girlfriends, so they go off for an epic mall day. But they run into the boys there. Oh, you're so busted. By the way, remember, Elle has a funny way of talking from being raised in a science lab, but spending time with real kids, she's getting better.
I dump your ass.
So Mike and Elle have their first breakup, and Jim Hopper's feeling good. So good, in fact, he finally asks Joyce out on a real date, but she stands him up. Yeah, Joyce has been having trouble with magnets lately, so she goes to see the smartest person in town, the boys' science teacher, Mr. Clark. He explains for all the magnets in Hawkins to lose their magnetism, it would have to be a massive machine. She suspects the government might be doing secret experiments at the Hawkins lab again, but she and Hopper check it out. There's nothing here. Except this Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator-looking guy who beats Hopper up for snooping around, so they're wrapped up in another conspiracy. Meanwhile, Dustin, while trying to contact Suzie, intercepts a Russian broadcast. His friends are busy with girl trouble, so he goes to his new best friend, Steve Harrington. Yeah, remember, these two bonded in Season 2. They're trying to translate the message to save America from a Red Dawn invasion, but they're hopeless. Luckily, Robin has a great ear for languages and pretty soon figures it out. Unfortunately, it's just a nonsense code. But Robin continues to be the MVP when she realizes it's all about stuff in the mall. That night they do some snooping, and soon it's apparent the Starcourt Mall is a cover for a secret Russian base. Nancy and Jonathan coming in from another angle, working a weird story about rabid rats that turns out are possessed by the Mindflayer. Speaking of possessed, Billy is feeling rather weird and soon finds himself compelled to kidnap his coworker and bring her to the Mindflayer's new rat-made body. Max and Elle are playing a fun sleepover game where they use Elle's psychic powers to spy on the boys, but when it's time to see what Billy's up to, oh, he can see her and something's really wrong. They check on Billy, but everything's fine. They're acting weirdly normal. Until, of course, they attack this girl's parents. Yes, it's a classic invasion of the body snatchers. This gross, fleshy Mindflayer has gotten real big, and it's possessing all of Hawkins. Will Byers is having a breakdown, lamenting the end of his childhood, but now he can't ignore it anymore. He's got to admit the Mindflayer's back. So now the kids, all working together, they're pretty sure Billy's possessed. They make a plan to lock him in the sauna because the Mindflayer can't stand heat. And if they're wrong, this is a really weird, mean prank. But of course they're right, and the Mindflayer juices Billy. Whoa, he's got super strength. He goes full Darth Vader on 11, but finally she's able to knock him out of there. Then when Nancy and Jonathan realize there's something very wrong with Rat Lady, they finally join the kids group too. Meanwhile, the Scoops Ahoy group is working on the mall Russian angle. Steve and Dustin continue to be funny but hopeless. But there is someone who would fit in those air vents. It's Lucas's little sister, Erica.
You can't spell America without Erica.
She is a hilariously precocious, enterprising young kid who agrees to help him out for free ice cream for life. She crawls through the vents and opens the door no problem, but unfortunately this storage room is actually an elevator and they're going way down there. Now Chief Hopper recognized that Terminator coming out of the scumbag mayor's office, so he pays him another visit and learns that the Russians have bribed him to buy a property around Hawkins. At one of those houses they find some Russian scientists, but then it's the Terminator fight round 2, but they manage to grab one of the scientists and get out of there. After a walk through the woods and a stop for Slurpees, they commandeer this vehicle from the Toddfather. They go to the only person Hopper knows who speaks Russian. It's Murray Bauman. Yeah, remember, he's the reporter/conspiracy theorist that helped him in season 2. Now the scientist is Alexi, and he's happy to talk in exchange for some fast food. There's immediately a problem though, because Hopper got him a strawberry Slurpee when he asked for cherry. This is a grievous insult to any Slurpee enthusiast. Hopper though does not see the difference. Meanwhile, the Scoops troop has managed to avoid detection and finds themselves in a James Bond-style secret Russian facility, complete with portal to the Upside Down. The older kids buy time for Dustin and Erica to escape, but now Robin and Steve are captured. For their interrogation, the Russians bring in the doctor who's got his homemade truth serum, but turns out that serum is mostly LSD and has a real nice mellow high. The younger kids bust in to save them and now have to chaperone these trippin' teenagers who just have a real nice night together. Once it's wearing off, they have a heart-to-heart in the bathroom where Steve's like, "Hey Robin, I think I like you." It's like, "Steve, I like you too, but I don't like you. I like girls." So yeah, these two do not get a romance. They get to be just BFFs. The kids go to the hospital to check on Rat Lady, and Lucas solidifies his status as a ladies' man by teaching Mike how to win Elle back, give her candy. But upstairs, things go bad for the teenagers when their former newspaper bosses are now possessed and have Michael Myers' super strength. They manage to kill him, but now that their bodies are of no use, the Mindflayer melts them down and oh gross, what's this? Oh, a big flesh monster! Yeah, Nancy and Jonathan have it rough. Everyone else is having fun while they're stuck in the horror genre. But now the kids join them and Elle beats this thing with her psychic powers, but that was just one small piece of a much bigger problem. So Elle and the kids try to find the Mindflayer's source by going into Billy's mind. Elle finds his good memories from when he was a happy kid who loved his mom, but he's got a lot of bad ones, like his awful abusive father, and now you feel bad for poor Billy. Unfortunately, the connection goes both ways. Now the Mindflayer knows where Elle is. It calls in its minions from all over Hawkins and melts them all down to make a massive monster body. It attacks Hopper's cabin where there's a massive monster fight. Oh, gonna get her, shotgun blast! In the end, 11 rips that thing apart, but eventually it'll just put itself back together. Finally, the gang gets in touch with Dustin, who unfortunately is still trapped in the mall. But 11 gets there just in time to hit these guys with a car, and now both our young crews are together. Siblings Lucas and Erica are surprised to see each other, and Robin's surprised to learn that 11 has psychic powers. But in any case, they all bring each other up to speed. The adults finally are up to speed too. Hopper calls in the CIA when Joyce gives them the real mama bear talking to cause their kids are in danger. On the drive back, Hopper and Joyce keep arguing, so Murray Bauman, the love guru who got Nancy and Jonathan together last season, tells them to skip the foreplay, just pull over and get it on. Which, I mean, they don't. Now, the kids are supposed to be at the 4th of July fair, so while Hopper and Joyce search for him, Alexi has the best night of his life. He's about to try his first corn dog, but the Terminators tracked him down, and oh, silent walk-by assassination. No, Alexi was such a nice guy, just loved Slurpees and cartoons. But there's no saving him, Alexi dies. Hopper's fighting Russians in the funhouse. In the Hall of Mirrors, he gets the jump on Terminator, but he was wearing a bulletproof vest. But now on their radio, they hear about kids in the mall. 11's having trouble with the Mindflayer bite on her leg. It left a little piece of itself in there, super gross. But now finally the adults arrive and our entire party is united. Now that everyone's up to speed, the plan is for the adults to take over, go down and close the portal. But they need directions from the kids who are down there, so the Scoops troop sticks together, going off to Dustin's big radio to guide them over the walkie. The rest of the kids are supposed to run away and lay low, but possessed Billy's out there waiting for them. And unfortunately, since her leg injury, Elle's psychic powers are not working. So while Hopper is earning the nickname Alexi gave him, Fat Rambo, and Murray is reluctantly forced to accept his call sign, Bald Eagle, Hopper and Joyce have a heart-to-heart where she's like, "Hey, if we survive this, I'll take you up on that date." But upstairs, the giant fleshy Mindflayer has entered the mall, and our kids are hiding for their lives. Half the group makes it out, but Billy's not gonna let that happen. Luckily, boom! Steve Harrington heard they were in trouble and comes to save the day. They all hop in the station wagon and are leading the monster away. And now we have another problem. The code to the safe is Planck's constant, apparently a famous mathematical number. Without Alexi, though, no one here knows it. But there is one person who definitely knows it. Way over in Utah, Dustin's fake girlfriend Suzie is real. Yeah, Dusty Buns and Suzie Poo reunited. But she's pretty mad at him for ignoring her for 3 days and now randomly asking about Planck's constant. She won't tell him what it is till he apologizes, and there's only one way to do it. With their wildly embarrassing, very personal couples thing, singing the theme song together of the Neverending Story. It is absolutely adorable, but it's made hilarious by all the random people listening in, some of whom are in mortal peril. Finally, Suzie tells them the number, so now they got the shutdown keys and bust in there ready to close the portal permanently. But the Terminator's here, ready for round 4. Billy is also in Terminator mode, and he brings Elle to the Mindflayer so it can possess her. But just then, boom! Fireworks! Yes, our crews all come back. It's an epic 4th of July celebration, just the way George Washington would have wanted it. Meanwhile, Elle's trying to unpossess Billy by reminding him of his good memories, and it works. A depossessed Billy now stands up to his former master. He's ready to sacrifice himself to protect these kids, and unfortunately, right at the start of his potential redemption arc, no, Billy is killed. It's especially tragic for Max. The complexities and depth of their brother-sister dynamic were complex and deep. Meanwhile, at the portal, things are not going great, but Hopper manages to turn the tide and, throws this guy into the machine. Unfortunately, now it's malfunctioning and has trapped Hopper on the wrong side. To save their kids, they can't wait, so it's another heartbreaking moment as Joyce has to sacrifice Hopper by blowing up this machine, disintegrating everyone in the area. But the gate does close, and now cut off from its Wi-Fi signal, the fleshy Mindflayer monster dies. Now the cavalry rides in, and the good CIA here to clean this mess up. We suffered tremendous losses, but the day is saved. A little while later, life is getting somewhat back to normal. With them all destroyed, Steve and Robin get a new job at the video rental store. But there's another massive change. The Byers family has been through too much trauma in Hawkins. They're moving. Nancy and Jonathan say their goodbyes. They're going long distance, which always works out. And turns out Eleven is leaving too. She's going with the Byers. I guess it would be weird to be adopted by her boyfriend's family. So they're going long distance too, but have a big milestone when they say, "I love you." Wow, dropping L-bombs. By the way, Eleven's powers have not come back yet, so watch out for that. But now get ready to cry when Eleven finds the old note Hopper wrote for him, trying to express his feelings. Turns out he actually wrote some beautiful stuff about how Eleven's his daughter and brought meaning back to his life. And the heart-wrenching sign-off line, "Just please leave the door open 3 inches." So the group all says farewell for now as the Byers family leaves Hawkins, and that's where Stranger Things Season 3 comes to an end. But we're not done yet. There's an after the credits scene in Russia. What are they doing at this secret facility? What's behind that gate? Oh, say it ain't so! It's a classic Season 1 Demogorgon! But double wait, we're still not done yet. Spoilers ahead if you're the type of person that doesn't even watch a single trailer or anything. But at the secret Russian facility, there's a bunch of prisoners building railroad tracks, and one of them is shaved head Chief Jim Hopper. How did he survive? How did he get here? Find out in Stranger Things Season 4. If you like this recap, hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies.